Hello, this is the RPG Crawler, and welcome to my playthrough of Pillars of Eternity. This will be the official one. We will not go with Trial of Iron as much as I wanted to. I decided to go against it for now. But what we will be doing is going on hard. And once I've got a hang of the game, then I will try a Path of Iron Trial of the Damned run at some later point. But for now, I'm just going to enjoy the combat and the system. This is a game designed around the principles of the old Infinity Engine games. So it's kind of an old-school role-playing game, but with some modern elements. It's top-down, isometric, storyline-heavy, text-heavy, so I'm going to be doing a lot of narration. Fortunately, it seems most of the important characters are actually voiced, so there is that. Yeah, the combat system in this game is interesting. It's really more about interrupting your opponent than just hitting hard. So I played this. I've got a live stream of me trying to play through the intro on Trial of Iron, Path of the Damned difficulty, and it did not go well. There will be a link in the description below, as well as an annotation, which will allow you to skip this part if you've already seen me play through the introduction. Of course, it may not be live until like 2 or 3 episodes in, but, take it what you will.
5 wagons grope blindly for the path on a starless night, their master glancing ever upward to the skies for assurance that he is on the right course. A dim lantern his only protection against the encroaching darkness. But the skies bring no comfort, shining no light, betraying no hint of what they know. The caravan carries travelers bound for the frontier hamlet of Gilded Vale, you among them, where a local lord has offered land and wealth to settlers from abroad looking for a fresh start. You have taken suddenly ill, sweating and shivering, and one of the other travelers signals for the caravan master to stop on your behalf. He pulls up just in time to avoid plowing into the trunk of a fallen tree that bars the way ahead. You will go no further tonight.
And that's actually a pretty solid adventure setup. That is, I've used something almost identical in my D&D games in the past. One design decision that I'm not entirely sure of is that after they play the intro, then you go to character creation, instead of going to character creation and then going to the intro and then going directly into gameplay, which is how they used to do it in the old Infinity Engine games. I have no idea why they switched it around. But, let's see, we'll go with male. This time, instead of like a ranger, I think I'm going to go with a wizard, just because wizards are generally awesome. Now, the stats all do different things. You can mouse over them to see what they do. Perception is important, not only to notice things in the background, but it contributes to how well you dodge and you escape things, and how often you can interrupt people. And interruption is really nice in this game because it does do a lot of damage. If you just have somebody with a slow two-hander, they're probably going to get their asses kicked a lot if you've got a bunch of people basically keeping them off balance and hitting them all the time. Action speed is important too, so an elf with dexterity and perception can usually attack pretty quickly. It's not going to be really important for a wizard, but we'll try. But, however, we're going to look at a couple of the other classes here. Humans have bonuses to resolve and might. Resolve helps you avoid getting interrupted, which is kind of the counterbalance to being quickly interrupted. But if you've got enough tries interrupting you, then eventually you're going to lose your concentration and get interrupted. Then you've got Almoa. I have no idea how to pronounce that, so I'm probably never going to play them. They're just big seagoing aquatic creatures, so they've got a bonus to might and then not much else. Dwarves are dwarves. Typical dwarf. You've seen them in D&D, you've seen them in pretty much every other game. Their stats support that, and in fact their sub-race stats also support that, so it's kind of neither here nor there. Orlin are interesting. Orlin are like the halflings of this game, and I can understand why they couldn't use halflings because, you know, between TSR or between Wizards of the Coast and the Tolkien estate, you can really almost never hit halflings in games anymore. But they're short, they're fuzzy, they're quick, and they're resolute. And for some reason, they have long, pointed ears, longer than the elves. Yep, way longer than the elves. Then last but not least are the godlike. They're animal-headed creatures that basically take on an aspect of a various god. You can have like gods of death godlikes. You have, well, I'll go ahead and show you. You have fire godlikes, which are pretty freaking sweet to look at. You got moon godlikes, and then you've got nature godlikes. And what I might do is I might do a fire godlike. Man, I am so torn because character creation in this game takes forever. It's another reason why those on YouTube will probably want to skip to the action unless they really like the character creation in this game. Now the moon godlike would be really nice for priest because every encounter, when you start taking damage, you generate waves of healing moonlight that restore endurance to yourself and your allies, which can be really nice combined with something else that affects an area. You know, my initial idea was to play a wizard, but I'm thinking maybe I may play some sort of paladin. I'll leave that for another playthrough. We'll go with elf, pale elf, and wizard. As you can see, there's a bunch of typical Dungeons & Dragons style classes. Got your barbarian, your fighter, your paladin, your ranger, your wizard, your druid, your monk, your priest, and your rogue, and all of those pretty much have a whole lot in common with you know, their D&D style counterparts. The exception being that priest and paladin are really the only two that you have to worry about your alignment with. Each order and each you know, each priestly devotion rewards certain behavior. So if you end up being a priest of a particularly badass kind of thing, then they're going to want you to be aggressive in your dealings with people, and it actually keeps track of that with all of the conversation options. Chanter is, I think, similar to a bard. I'm not sure. It's like, yeah, I think they're kind of similar to a bard, not really. Cypher is kind of like a fighter mage. And they can fight, and then they can use, let's see, can directly target allies and enemies with powerful and soul-focused effects. They can't really use magic, but they can use magic-like abilities. We'll go with wizard, though. Now, a lot of the wizard spells have D&D analogs, and you can really tell the roots of the game in here. It does not, of course, use the D&D license, but I can draw parallels between like 90% of these things. Chill fog, not quite, but let's say fan of flames, which is basically burning hands. You know, fleet feet, which is basically expeditious retreat. Jolting touch, which is of course shocking grasp. You can select up to 4 spells to start with. Soulless grasp, which is equivalent to chill touch. Minor missiles, which is of course equivalent to magic missiles. Slicken, which is equivalent to grease. Basically puts a spot of things to slip around on. Spirit shield, which is similar to shield and or armor. And then some other things here that don't quite match up. So what we're going to do with this wizard is create kind of, I want to say kind of some sort of necromancer type. We'll go with chill fog to affect an area at range. We'll go with parasitic staff, which basically, you know, drains endurance while you're attacking. We will go with what is this? Oh yeah, this is like chill touch. The sunless grasp is chill touch. We'll go with spirit shield, of course, because you're going to need to Basically, if you're going to be meleeing with that staff, you're going to need to get up front and center with that. And the real question is, do I want to use one of these spell slots? I've got my last spell slot. Well, I've got no spells. Yeah, I've got one last spell spot left. Do I want to use it for a ranged attack, or do I want to go with like Wizard's Double? Because that only gives you deflection until you're damaged. So you're probably going to get hit pretty quick. Eldritch Aim. Yeah, it's like a buff for aim, of course. What do Ghost Blades do? It's an area of effect. Does piercing and then hobbles your enemies. A lot of these spells have secondary effects, which is nice. Because status effects are really, really useful. We'll go with the typical Minolita's magic missiles, or minor missiles, just to have an attack at range. Crush damage versus deflection. Yeah, I think that's going to work. Okay, the Dazzling Lights is kind of like Color Spray, which is actually really nice. I might take that instead of Chill Fog, but nah, we'll go with Chill Fog. Alright, sorry for that delay. Those spells are interesting. Picking spells is always the most interesting part of a wizard. Attributes. Now, because I don't have it on expert difficulty, or expert mode, I've got little stars that tell you what is highly recommended for a wizard. And for some reason, Might is highly recommended for a wizard, because it just does a flat increase in damage. And I don't think it really matters in terms of whether it's a weapon or a spell. So we'll bump Intellect and Might up to 14. We'll bump Dexterity up a bit. Because that up to 14. We're going to even out Resolve and Perception just to have them there. And I think I may put the last two into Intellect, because it boosts area of effect damage. Or is that just area of effect, period? I think it adds like a little bit over a third area of effect. Yeah, we'll go with that. Next is the culture. Now, these cultures have different effects on your statistics. They also have different effects on your starting gear. For instance, Old Valia, a wizard's going to start with a breastplate, which is interesting. Let's see, the Living Lands, Might, and then whatever that is. The White That Wends. Oh, that's like a savage kind of tribe. Home to pale elves and small colonies of daring explorers. So that actually might be more fitting. But for now, we will go with, I want to say, Old Valia. Man, these guys have like cloth, and then Old Valia has like armor. It's kind of fucked up. Yeah, I know this is a little bit. I've hit, the character creation in this game is really in depth. We'll go with Old Valia, I believe. Yeah, because he's going to be up front and center a lot. Background. I think what I'm gonna do is because I haven't played this before, so I've played this, but only through the introduction. So I'm gonna go with something I didn't go with last time, which was, wow, Hunter was what I went with last time. I think I'm just gonna go with our Aristocrat, just because it seems fitting from him from a role-playing perspective. Does this even matter? I'll just fiddle around with this for a second. And then for his colors, we'll go with something aristocratish. I'm going to reverse these. Maybe something like... there's nothing I'm happy with here. We'll go with something like dark purplish here. Ah, okay. I can't get over facial hair for elves. That's funny as hell. This is just because I'm going to be sticking with this character for a long time, so I want to be happy with how he looks. Or at least not displeased with how he looks. There we go. And that is generic elf. Am I even going to need to look around? What I'm wondering is, does it actually take a look at what you're looking at and then pick the nearest one, or does it just pick according to your race? What I've always wondered about. I need to keep track of that. Yeah, I have voices turned way down. I may have to correct that. We'll go with Sinister. And then, of course, I will go with the usual RPG crawler. Alright. Looks like we've actually settled in. Now for the intro. Am I done? Yeah, I'm done. Gilded Veil. Alright. I think, as usual... Okay. The last time I played this, I had some difficulty deciding what to narrate because the NPCs will jump in with their own voice text in the middle. The caravan master finishes addressing the group, his bushy red mustache and sagging jowls quivering as if for emphasis.
Everybody stays close to the wagons, got it? Stay out of the woods, and beasts take you if you are planning a stroll through those ruins up there.
He nods towards a looming black mass on the hillside.
The whole area is crawling with hut-dwelling types who'd be happy to stick an axe in you for trespassing. So mind that you don't track mud on their sacred blazing rocks. Tonight, everybody stays put, and in the morning we'll get the path cleared. Gilded Veil's less than a day out. Understood?
At last, the caravan master turns to you, frowning as he looks you over.
Touch of the rumbling rot, could be. There's a stinging beetle round here, carries it. You'll be fine once it passes your innards. Unless you don't drink water, course. Which case you'll be dead in a day. There's a berry grows in these parts, small and pink, called a springberry. About the size of a fingernail. Give you cramps if you eat it, but the frontiersmen make a tea from it. Calms the insides. Should get you through the night. You might check around, see if you can find some. Meanwhile, I'll see if we can scare you up some water.
See, that's what gets me. I played through this before. You're like sick. He just told you you might die if you don't drink water and stuff. And then he's like, you know what? Since you're the sick guy, you go find your own fucking cure. But damn,
I know you want to
kind of
hunt
cold.
before it gets much darker. But see about refilling our water first. Got a sick one here.
He nods in your direction, apparently to the lanky, intense man named Sparfle. Sparfle nods and slides a worn bow over his shoulder. And let me know if the audio of the game isn't quite matching up, because or in terms of levels, because I had to adjust my audio levels after the last playthrough. Okay, where would I find these
Grow on a
berries?
bush that's common round here, kind of funny looking. You'll know it when you see it. Doubt you'd have to go far off the road to find one.
Okay. What are these huge rocks
They don't
coming
got
out of the
odor
ground?
where you come from? Well, it just grows up out of the ground like this. Goes deep like tree roots. Some of it all the way to the heart of the world, you believe the stories.
And it's basically background
It's more
information.
like a shell than a proper rock. Easier to work if you're a mason. Got all kinds of strange properties. Seems to have some kind of life of its own. Dies if it gets dug up. Loses its luster. Folks think it probably grew at one point or another, but not these days. The soul butchers in Defiance Bay use it for different things. I've heard tell it can hold a man's soul, but I don't care to see it. Got enough to worry about without seeing something like that.
So I'm guessing the magic is based off of souls or whatever? That's just a guess.
Nothing you won't see on half the hills of Air Glonfoth. Money to be made selling their knickknacks in Defiance Bay, if you don't mind getting stuck with Glonfoth and arrows now and again. They didn't build them, but I'll be the effigy if they don't watch them like a mother bear.
So, angry savages.
Of course, all the
joy.
ones around here have been ransacked 10 times over. Got nothing left worth half a pawn, so I hear.
I'm gonna go ahead and close the tutorial out because I should have switched it off entirely. Who did build the ruins?
Settlers called them Ingwithans. Nobody that liked them enough to stop them becoming ruins, tell you that much.
Alright. Tell you what, I'll leave the rest of that out. We'll
Hold
just
on.
go ahead and see about those
Take
berries.
someone with you. I know you're not some helpless tenderfoot, not like most of this lot. But you drop dead, I don't want to be looking for the body. Got a schedule to keep.
He scans over the travelers, resting his eyes at length on a sturdy, armor-clad woman who has spent the journey's nights sleeping on uneven ground without blanket or pillow.
Kalisha. Kalisha!
The woman looks up on her own time.
He needs to find some spring berries. Watch that he doesn't drop dead.
No promises.
What kind of
What
guide says something like that?
Kind you can afford.
God, I just
Don't listen to
want
her. You're
to
in good
smack
hands.
her.
And I pay too
That's
well,
all right.
if anything. Off with you. Hayadin should have supplies. See that you're equipped before you head out. We're in harsh country. Get your berries and hurry back. And if you get so much as a tickle of wind, you drop everything and you run. Something in the air tonight. If it's a Beawick, we'll shelter in the ruins. Hut dwellers be damned.
Alright. And this is what
Good,
kind
man.
of
Let's get going before you
threw
keel
me
over.
off when I wanted to come up with a... At some point, I want to do a Path of the Damned, Trial of Iron solo run, and I'm still debating over whether or not, you know, this area here where you are forced to take companions counts as a solo run or not. So I guess first of all, we're going to run around camp, grab shit. Okay, I already know this. Come on! Is there a hotkey to clear those tutorial messages? Alright. Lockpicks or mechanics. What's in here? Yeah, okay. Deer wooding clothing. I'm wondering if I need to actually buy lockpicks for that or if I can wait. I think I will
Anyone
wait.
need supplies? I've got sundries for sale.
Alright, what does he have to say? You see a man wearing simple but mostly neat clothes. He is transfixed, however, by a ragged tear in the seam of his tunic and a bugged sound.
Not enough shirts for the road.
The fucking tutorial sound closing is going on. God damn it. Why do I always get... sorry, it's a holdover from my Daggerfall days. I always got the bug sounds. I'm gonna skip all the way through this just so I can shut that thing off. So I guess the tutorial panel came up, and since I didn't close it fast enough, it closed itself and got bugged. Alright, let's talk to him again.
Something else you need?
Let's see what you've got. Now, you know what? Before I buy shit, I need to find out what I actually have on this character. A scepter. Okay, so it's just basically a magical implement. And a breastplate, which gives me some decent DR. But... And there it is again! What the fuck is that? Hold on a second, I gotta go into options. In the game... I just need to shut the tutorials off, because that's what's causing all this issue.
Looks like we're settled for the night.
Now let's see what you've got. And I've turned tutorials off entirely, just hopefully. So do I even need any ranged items for him? Because he is a wizard. Now I do know that she's going to probably want some sort of ranged weapon just to open up with. And since it's going to be like an opening shot kind of thing, I'm going to want something that's relatively heavy and relatively... I can deal with it being slow, in other words. So if I get a crossbow, then I will be able to open up with Kalisha having an opening shot. And we can go with that. I'll figure the rest out from here.
Take care of it.
So, time to look around. So, we've got Sparful over here.
I'll have your water soon enough. Stream's not going anywhere.
What an asshole. Alright. Kind of cruising around looking for those berries. What's this? Admith's Wort. This path winds through a narrow canyon back the way you came. Grooves, okay. And here's what I'm wondering. When you pick stuff up, it automatically gets added to the stash.
Let's check by those outcroppings.
But one of the options is to restrict your stash. So, how does it get in the stash in the first place? Like, because I've picked stuff up and had it automatically go into the stash, and then been unable to access it if I have that restrict stash turned off or turned on. So, it like teleports into your stash out of your hands, and then you can't access it. I don't understand that. All right. Well, we've got 2 wolves. Yep, young wolf and young wolf. So I guess now it's time to figure out how to use this whole magic thing. Now, Kalisha is going to just open up with a crossbow bolt. On my wizard...
What is it?
Is going to open up with... Chill Fog. Okay. Alright, Kalisha's used her attack. We'll go ahead and switch to weapon set 1. And, I gotta figure out what to do with my wizard. Trying to back him up a bit. I gotta get used to aiming everything. I guess Arcane Assault is, oh, it's a very short range area effect. Okay. So what do I have other than that? How do the... You can only cast a certain number of first level wizard spells or something? Is that how it works?
Still alive.
We'll go with Spirit Shield. I don't know if that was a good idea or not. Probably. Probably not. Alright, we'll take the wolf pelts. And walk on through. Alright, I think I overkilled on that. I think I went in and fucked up. Springberry, that's what I needed. You're the one who's supposed to be from some big shot noble family. Is that true? That's right. Royal blood runs through my veins. Yeah, how is it you happen to come here? And I guess this is where you set your background, right? Huh. Certain jealous family members whisper. Oh, okay, we'll go with this one. I know what that feels like. You really can't trust anyone, can you? Kalisha breathes in her surroundings. Been a long time since I've been this way, but I always did like it. Lord Raedric's offer makes a girl think, I'll give him that. You here to settle like the rest of the lot? It's a hard offer to pass up. You won't find many offers like that in these parts, believe me. Got some big plan in store? Getting filthy rich? I'm gonna lay low here for a while, try not to draw too much attention to myself. You picked the right place then. Gilded Vale's days away from any real civilization. Anyway, I'm wasting time here. Odima will give me an earful. Let's be on our way. And this is where you can get more background information about the area. You know, why are you here? Kalisha sighs unevenly. Her eyes search the ground at her feet. My sister moved out here some time back. She sent me a letter. She seemed worried, but that's how she always is. This time, though, she asked me to come out, and that's got me a little worried. I haven't seen her in ages. Been doing guide work in Ixamital. Whatever. But I'd do anything for her. She's, well... She's a much better woman than me, so I'm here and we'll see. Odima I've worked with before. He doesn't usually drive this route anyway. He doesn't usually drive a route this way, but he's doing it for me. Tell me about yourself. I've got simple needs. I like open skies and far horizons. I find work that lets me live that way. My family wanders too. We started in Deerwood, but my parents ended up in the Living Lands. I've got a brother in Rautai and another in Ader. My sister in Gilded Vale, she's the only real homebody. And about Deerwood, I'm not much for history, but from what I know, it used to be a part of the Ader Empire. Broke off after a war some years back. The locals here are feisty, and that's how they like it. I've been out of touch, but I've been hearing weird kinds of things about it lately. People having trouble giving birth, I guess. A lot of them. Been going on for years now, but somehow it's getting worse. With an uneasy tremor in her voice, she adds, I'll have to ask my sister more about it. Alright, let's get back to camp. You know, I wouldn't hold my breath that Sparfle's getting your water anytime soon, because he is an asshole. We should check up on him first, slap him around a little. Stream's just down that way. Come on, let's get your water.
Well?
Alright, so I guess I kind of cruise down here. Pick up whatever I can, because it may come in useful later. You never know. Or I can just wander around rocks and get lost. Okay. It's kind of burning along the side of the stream here. There's a bridge, but I'm going to cross it later. Still nothing. Oh, there's a deer. I wonder. Can you do anything with that deer? Oh. The deer's gone already, idiot. Okay. Travelers, maybe, or looters, or bandits. Bad sign, any way you figure it. The corpse is cold to the touch, and it smells, and a ripe smell wafts from it in putrid waves. Man, the text doesn't stay up very long. I can see it in my section down there. Got lockpicks, which are going to be useful, and got leather armor, which may also be useful. I need to figure out how to peel these two apart or to get this one up on screen all the time. Well, now I've got lockpicks. Let's continue exploring down here, then we'll open that chest up. Yeah, we'll go back into camp and open that chest up that I couldn't before. Alright. I gotta go the long way around, don't I? Alright, back into camp. The chest was up here, if I remember right. So let's see. We used lockpicks and a potion of minor endurance. Nice. And nobody gives a shit that I'm stealing their stuff, so... Let's head down here just to get it on the map. Got anything useful down here? No, it just circles around. Wait, what's this? The fallen tree doesn't budge. Sap oozes from a jagged wound in its trunk. And then, better late than never, I guess. She chimes in. And there's something to loot up here. Orland's Cradle. Alright, so we've explored half the map. Let's head down to this bridge. So far, so good. I mean, bugs and starting issues notwithstanding. Let's go ahead and cross the bridge and see what's over on the other side of the stream.
Went hunting. At least you left the water skins. Come on.
And now she's skipping the front of every sentence. You know, I expected better of this game. You crouch at the riverbank and dip your water skin into the cool water while Kalisha waits nearby, keeping watch. As you rise, you notice her look up sharply towards the tree line. Out of the trees emerges Sparfle, one of the guides, barely discernible in the dim moonlight. He no longer carries his bow, and there is a strangeness to his gait, a spastic wobble in his ordinarily deft stride as he moves towards you with labored
Sparkle?
breath.
Are you alright?
Sparfle's toe catches on a rock, and he collapses forward in a heap, the feathered shaft of an arrow planted between his shoulders like an enemy flag. Ambush.
Ambush!
Yep. Thank you for repeating me, Kalisha. Being useful as always. So, we've got to reach the camp, but first let's deal with this shit. I guess that I can only cast so many wizard spells a day, and I've gone ahead and fucked up and used them all. So, we're going to open up with Kalisha doing a ranged attack on this guy. And my elf is going to move back a little bit. Oh shit, I'm being attacked. Well, Kalisha's going to switch to her melee attacks. And then jump in on this guy. And does it help to flank him? That's the real question. I don't understand what those little dots are above each health bar. Okay, now this person is going to be ranging me, so... what can I do about that? I can try this, I guess. Boom. Did that even hit her? No. So I basically just gotta thwack her with a scepter. Come on. I like how Kalisha's actually dual wielding a torch and an axe.
Come on, we have to get back to camp.
Alright, well we've got a hunting bow, which I can now use for ranged attacks on my main. An agate. And hide armor.
What is it?
So I guess the ingredients go to the stash regardless, so that's not that bad a deal. It's only when items teleport to the stash that I get annoyed. Okay, we got like a little campsite around here. The footprints around the campfire are indistinct and may have been here for days or longer. And we got beer. Yay, beer. Okay. Anything up here? Nope. So, I guess it's back to the camp with this exciting music in the background. Okay, enemy sighted, and therefore it's auto pause. Well, since it's just sighted, let's get our crossbow up and open up with a ranged attack. Fuck. Well, switch back to mace. And then our main, once again, we still kind of are fucked on terms of spells. Try to hit these guys with an area of effect. Yeah, I have a strange feeling that I went ahead and screwed myself using all my spells on those wolves. Come on, Kalisha can take it, right? Actually, what does Kalisha have in terms of abilities? Knockdown, 2 per encounter. We'll try to knock this person down. Or she's already knocked down. Kalisha is, at least. Let's use knockdown on this, yeah. Boom. And then we will switch our attacks to this. Alright, that's useful to do. And then Kalisha can knock this one down again as well. Boom. So far, so good. That makes for a pretty solid little combat system there. It encourages more than just pointing at shit and clicking auto attack. Is it worth looting all this shit? Yeah, I think so. Directly into the stash if I can. And as before, directly into the stash.
Yes.
Because hopefully I can sell that later. Dead people everywhere. All around you lie the massacred remains of the other travelers, peppered with arrows and knife hilts, splayed and bug-eyed and filthy on the blood-damp earth. Kalisha puts the back of her left hand to her mouth as if to ward away the horror like a poisonous vapor. A handful of dark figures stands above the fallen, treading on limbs and backs and heads, jerking their axes from the bodies as if from half-split logs as they prepare to add you to the sprawling pile beneath them. One of them, towering and severe, with a thick beard tasseled with knots, holds a wet blade at the neck of the man you recognize as Heoden, the last of your caravan left standing. Lay down your arms, trespasser. Do not forfeit this man's life for a fight you will lose. Okay, well, let's see. You will try to kill us all either way. Why make it easy? The man gives a slight sideways nod of his head, perhaps acknowledging the astuteness of your response. Many things may happen. The only one you can be sure of is that if you hold your weapons, I will drain his blood upon the ground. So I say again, lay down your arms. Don't trust them, they mean to kill us all. Oh, I've got a lot of things open because of my stats. Alright. Judging by the string of animal teeth around your neck, I am guessing you are worshippers of Galawain. If Galawain told you to stop protecting the ruins, would you? The man frowns and motions as if to swing his axe. Heoden winces, but the blow never comes. Instead, the man cocks his head, intrigued. Of course, but he would not. It is by the command of all the gods that we accept this charge. How do you know? Because it's consistent with their beliefs, or because it's what you were told? The man glares. It has always been known to my people. I see, and what of Galawain's edict that weakness and age must be purged by youth and strength? You think Galawain would want some moldy, crumbling stones to survive long after their builders had turned to dust? The man's nostrils flare. He would not. He told us otherwise. I'm sure he did, just not you personally. But why should that stop you from killing innocents? Distracted, the man's grip falters on his axe handle, and he nearly fumbles it, affording Heoden the moment he needs to dodge out of his swing, which comes too late. Howling with rage, the man charges you instead. And we got a major combat, and I'm really wishing I hadn't blown my spells on those fucking wolves. Alright, what do we got here? We got Heoden, who is a first level rogue. Okay. Yeah, in case you hadn't noticed, Kalisha is a first level fighter. So they're both meadowfolk, both bog standard humans. What has he got in terms of equipment? He's a dual wielder. Nice. I've got all kinds of potions of regeneration, which I'm going to hold on to for now. So how do we want to do this? We're going to have our rogue run for the moment. He's just going to take off up here somewhere. Kalisha is going to, once again, try to open with her crossbow. And we will open up on one of these hunters. Because I want to get the guys with lower hit points done first. I'll wait for them to group together before Arcane Assault. He will just attack this hunter as well. So let's see what happens here. We're gonna have... Oh, fuck. Keep moving, goddammit. Okay, they caught him, and they totally ruined his day. I'm gonna... Basically, I want to get them all engaged here. I know I probably just fucked Heoden up, but, oh well, live and learn. Try to get as many as I can in this Arcane Assault. Looks like Heoden's about to die. What the fuck, man? Oh no, he's taking wound damage instead of health damage. Well, I will try to use this potion to try to heal him up. How do I do that? Anyway, we gotta get these guys down. Let's get back to the game here. It looks like Heoden just went down. because for some ungodly reason he couldn't drink a potion. Come on, let's take this. Well, come on, the leader's almost dead, so the leader's down now. So now we just gotta deal with these other guys. This one's badly injured, and we can use another arcane torrent or whatever. It'll hit our own people, but oh well. Boom. Well, come on, Kalisha, attack somebody. Let's gotta take this one out, because he's near death. Man, that's like the worst fight that I've ever... I've done this fight a couple times, and that's the worst I've ever done in it. They haven't killed Heoden, have they? No. They just knocked him out and wounded him. Okay, come on. There we go. Finally! Jesus. Your enemy lies supine on the ground, unable to rise. His companions now silent among the other dead. His breath comes in wheezing, fitful gasps. He looks not at you, but at the sky above you. Forgive us. Barely audible beneath his choked sighs, a whisper of wind stirs the air. At this, the man's eyes roll back as he closes them. Good, good, the gods are just. A queer smile crosses his face. I am ready. The wind begins to swell, whipping around the camp, electric and volatile, upending pots and rattling tents like an angry spirit. You can feel it begin to seep beneath your skin like a jetty beginning to succumb to the surge of a great wave, and where it pierces you it feels as though it is rending you apart from within. Seated against a wagon wheel amidst the howling maelstrom, slashed across his chest and bowel, Odima's body stirs, and with great effort he raises his sagging head, his eyes barely open. He looks directly at you.
Run!
Okay, that's good, good advice. Wow, okay. Definitely not a normal storm. So they have magical storms. Straining against a gale that threatens to pull you off your feet with every step, you set your hands in the worn folds of weathered rock and set about pulling yourself up the precipice. With a last burst of energy before your arms give out, you swing yourself up onto the ledge. Heoden trails behind, slowed by injury and delayed by early hesitation. As he nears the face of the rocks, one of the fallen attackers, who had been feigning death, lunges for Heoden and topples him onto the rocky ground. Restrained, Heoden lashes out against his fatigued assailant, but struggles to break his hold. They are close to you. From your position, you would have a good chance at hitting your mark. Channel a bolt of energy towards the attacker. Your aim is true, and the hit jars Heoden loose. Lurching to his feet, Heoden clambers up the base of the rocks. As he nears the top, however, the wind flares, pulling him sideways and tearing one of his hands free. But diving out onto the hard rock, you manage to catch hold of it. Securing his other hand, you pull with waning strength, and it feels as though your arms will be jerked from their sockets. They hold just long enough for Heoden to set his feet and join you on the trembling ledge. There is a deep resonance to the swelling wind now. You feel it in the rocks beneath your feet and inside the cavity of your own chest, as though it would shake the marrow from your bones. Each new guest menaces the old stones before you, loosening connections, unsettling balances. As you dart beneath the old archway, the entire portal begins to fall beneath its own weight. And it looks like I've got inside and got trapped within.
Was that?
A Bewick. Had to be.
Alright.
And we're lucky to be alive.
And
Yes,
we're
we
the
are.
only ones.
There could be another collapse. We're not getting out that way anyway. Let's get further inside.
Alright, that's a good idea. So for now, I'm going to pause it here. This has been the RPG Crawler. If you like what you've seen, remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more playthroughs of this and other games. Until next time, take care and goodbye.